not going to lie. Would have laughed if he showed me his glittery tits. Would have died laughing. I would have laughed so hard. I'd be like, what is...
Hi, I'm Kyle, a tired therapist.
And I'm Jackie, also a tired therapist.
And together, we are
Two Tired Therapists. Welcome to the pod. Anyways, all right.
I think we need to start the podcast with talking to our number one fan, Greg. Greg, it's time for you to host a game night and to invite me.
Yeah. They have so many games. Really, I don't know if you play anything specific, games. But I know you do.
I don't care.
There's so many good ones.
And I want to be showered with love and whatever else. That sounds bad.
Right, anything could be edited in there.
Welcome to the pod.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Same us, New Year.
Same us, New Year. Yep.
Oh, God.
New Year, same us.
Same us.
We
welcome.
Hope, yeah.
2024.
2024.
I hate
How many times have you written 2023?
None so far.
Me either.
It's too
I'm
early.
Doing great. Yeah.
But I did about, I think it was August or September of this past year, wrote 2022. Like, 8 months into the year. That was really strange.
That's strange.
I'd never had that before. I thought I was having a stroke.
Well, gotta know the signs.
I did smile just to make sure I could smile on both sides after that, because I was like, wait, how did I not? Yeah, no, it's too early. Ask me in like 2 weeks. Next time we record, ask me. I bet you I've written 23 at that point.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Anyways.
Well, we're here on a Friday, a unique
record
Friday.
day for us.
Yeah, usually it's like a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's strange. I don't even know what day it is because it's.
Oh my God.
It's the first week, of January. So.
Yeah. Yes, I got confused today. I got allergy shots, and the people at the allergist asked me when my last appointment was, and they said August, and I was like, August, and I had that meme of the lady doing math. That was me, because I was like, August. What are you talking about?
That
August.
Was last month.
And then I was like, wait, what month is it right now? And then they were like, do you have a future appointment? And I was like, yeah, I do, but I think and it was a dumpster fire. Yeah. And they laughed at me. It was fine.
Well,
they should have.
It's hard. Bad. This is a hard time for a lot of people.
I told them, I was like, I'm so sorry. It's the new year. I don't even know what today's date is, to be honest with you.
To be honest with you, yeah.
So yeah, but what are you tired of in the new year? I need to know.
Well, as you said, New Year, same us. Right. So still
flags.
Tired. Flags. Get the flags out of here. No, I think this may be. I'm not going to be a boomer.
Sure.
This month. That's my New Year's resolution. Which, by the way, please listen to last year's episode on New Year's resolutions.
Oh yeah,
having a hard time.
We did have a good episode on that.
I was going to look real quick and maybe tell you what episode that was, but I don't know how quick I can do this. Probably not quick enough. But it was last year. Oh no. Yeah, last year. January 10th.
There you go.
New Year, same us. Deal with it. That was the title.
Well, maybe we'll make this one. Actually, we probably won't, because it has nothing to do with resolution.
No, it doesn't. So anyways, so I'm tired. Maybe this is a unique experience for someone who has my upbringing.
Sure.
As a hillbilly. But people
that you outed yourself.
People where I'm from love to say that they're like 1/16th Indian, or like some random
they do
like quotient.
Yes.
Like
some made up figure.
I'm 1/32nd Indian, or I have Indian's blood. No, you don't, honey. You're white.
Yeah.
You're
white.
You're 100% white. Colonial. You're colonial.
Of the colonial blend.
Of the colonial blend.
Yeah, that grates me whenever people say that, because I'm just like, no. I don't know. Are you eligible to be on the reservation? Probably not.
Probably not.
Like,
you have to have like an immediate family member.
I think so. I'm not well versed. Please don't come for us.
Please don't come for us. This is not a diverse podcast.
Indigenous peoples.
Right.
Reservation.
But I know that
laws.
You can't say you're 1/32nd Indian and
No, thank you.
And then these people, what they do is they just have like a blanket that has a wolf on it. It's not even a joke. I know. It's not even a joke.
This is kind of like on point a little bit with our episode, sort of. Not 100% on point, but we are kind of going in that realm. It's fine. Spoilies.
But
no spoilies.
A little bit, but no spoilies. So people stop saying that unless let's see the papers. We say that a lot on this. Let's see
Let
the
me see your
papers.
DNA
Let me
test.
see your DNA test on your true heritage.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. What about you? What's going on over there?
Along your line, I just thought of it while you were talking. I was going to say something else, but I'll save that one because I'm always tired of that. But you know what I'm also tired of? Just another thing is the DNA testing.
It's scary.
It is. I will not do it.
I won't either.
Okay, thank God.
Do you think I want to be in a gay concentration camp one day? I don't think so.
I just think
they track that stuff.
They what are they?
They sell it.
What are they doing with your DNA? That's what I want to know.
They sell it.
I don't want them to take my DNA and put it on a crime scene. I'm not.
No,
we're not doing that. I won't. I refuse. People are like, I can't believe, and I'm like, no, I will never do it. I will.
Right.
If Justin wants to do it, he can do it. But I would be pretty upset with him if he did it.
When Ron DeSantis becomes president, I don't want to be put in a concentration camp because he's going to pull it right up. He's going to call 23andMe. Hi, hello, send me the gays.
Yeah.
And gone.
Well,
on the wall.
You and I will probably be in the same camp because all the women will go there too.
Underside.
Blessed be the fruit.
Blessed be the fruit.
I can't. I hate it. When people talk about it, I think the concept is cool, and I think that is kind of wild. But then I think people use it for saying they're 1/32 Native American, and you're like, why are you saying these things?
Well, and it's white people who do it, and then big shocker, you're 89% European,
right? And it's like you can find the specific distinct, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but like I don't know, I don't trust what they're doing with it. And I know they're using it to solve crimes, which I don't have a problem with, because I'm like, you know what, if you're gonna do this and send in your DNA, then I'm sure there's some type of thing that you sign, or when you buy it, it says like this will
those
be
terms and things that you just say sure.
But I will never do it. I'm so sorry. I also don't want to learn potentially like weird stuff about my family. Like I feel like that's because people are finding out that they have siblings that they never knew about, finding out that they're adopted they never knew. I mean, like, just there's that whole thing actually based out of nearish where we live, where a doctor, a fertility doctor, gave his own little
impregnating his patients.
Yep.
White people,
and that's how they found out, was the DNA testing. If you should just Google it. I'm not gonna say where we may or may not be
smart enough to figure it out. Good job.
But it was quite famous. There's actually more. There's a
documentary about it.
Well, and there's more that have come out. There's another one that I read an article last week about that they found out, and some other dude did this. So I'm just tired of it, and I'm tired of people talking about it and being like, I'm blah 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 is my great, and I'm like, I could care less. I could care less if you're connected to the royal family. I could give less than two shits.
Right, they're like, my 14th great grandfather killed Pocahontas.
Right.
Like, well, that doesn't make you Indian.
Do you have Prince Harry's cell phone number? That is what I care about. If you don't have Prince Harry's cell phone number, then I don't give a shit.
Do you have Prince Harry's dick pic? Well, I don't care.
I don't care unless
there's a dick pic involved.
An immediate family member. I could care less. You're telling me your 89th great grandma removed is the Queen of England. Forget it. So I'm just tired of it.
Very tired.
We'll do it themed.
On that note, I am part of the Stanley family.
You are.
Thanks to Jackie and producer Justin. We did our little gift exchange.
We did.
And my gift was a Stanley.
Yes. Producer Justin was very tickled to.
And I feel I feel excited. I feel like I belong. I feel like I finally found my people.
It's a little cult.
It is. Have you seen the Valentine's Day Stanley?
I just saw it. There's some
too much.
Yeah, it's too much. I was off air. I told Kyle that producer Justin got a Stanley from his work this year, and it's very nice. But
they
it's
are
like,
nice. They are.
They look very nice. They do keep it cold. They are very tall, so you can put a lot of liquid in there. But I mean, it's not my lifestyle.
But the fact that you the video I saw was like someone going to Target. They were handing out like tickets. You only got like 2.
It's like the Starbucks cups. It's almost like that.
I know. I don't get it.
It's weird. Yeah.
I don't get it.
The Starbucks are more bizarre to me.
But people probably look at us and the things we collect and think we're weird.
Yeah, that's okay.
What are you going to do? Speaking of weird.
Yeah.
We're going to do some interesting episodes coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know how many.
We might space them out differently.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how we do. We just thought this would be fun. We were like, you know what? Let's just do this. So
I don't know if it's been fun though. Can I just say it's been a different experience.
It's been a little triggering. I will tell you, I have well, we can discuss before we really get into it. I have now been on a binge of all of these movies.
Okay.
And I've literally watched almost
all of them.
Almost all of them. Yeah, I'm almost done.
Okay.
And I was like,
I just watched the 2.
Good for you. I should have stopped. I
couldn't. I barely got through the first. Let me say.
Yeah, I barely got through the first 2.
It was a different experience.
And then I started. There's 4 of them. 4? No,
4.
5 technically.
Oh.
Because the last one's in 2 parts.
Isn't
1, 2, 3, 4?
What's the
4
third?
part 1.
Oh, Eclipse.
Yeah.
Well, spoilies.
For spoilies for those.
We're gonna be reviewing.
We're just gonna
the Twilight.
Yeah, we're just
movies.
gonna have a little chitty chat. It's just our reactions.
Yeah.
We're just gonna talk about what we think about these movies. I think New
Here,
Moon
let's
will be
talk
the most
about-
interesting one for you and I to discuss because I have a lot of opinions. We will have to figure that out.
Oh my.
I've watched Eclipse and breaking down part 1. Eclipse there's some stuff in there, but it's not that much. And then we can do the part 1 and
yeah,
the
we'll
same
do
one
because
there's really not a whole lot in that. So what's your background with Twilight? So we're a fan, books,
so
movies,
I think
what's your deal?
Famously, I think I have talked about on this podcast that I read the books before they were cool. I'm just saying.
Bless you.
And fully was flicking my bean to Edward Cullen. So sorry, but I was.
Sure.
And then the movies came out and the bean flicking ceased. I have to say.
Oh, okay. So interesting.
Not a Robert Patterson fan. Patterson, whatever his fucking name.
Pattinson.
No.
I love him.
No. I mean, the books are great, and I wish I had
The
time
books
to reread them.
Yeah, same.
But I don't know, and I don't recall because the first movie was out in 2008.
I know.
Oh my.
Oh
my.
I have to tell you my little Twilight journey.
I was in high school still. Oh
yeah.
My. So
same.
I feel like I had a different experience as a teenager to the Twilight movies.
Sure.
As an adult, I was feeling a little suicidal. I have to say.
It was a little triggering, I will say.
It was a little triggering. I was like, oh my, this is not good.
I have to tell you my Twilight experience because mine is different than yours. So I remember when the books came out, everybody was talking about them. I had no interest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember the first movie came out and I had gotten a gift card to go to the movies from a teacher that I helped for something. And it was like, I don't know, like a $20 gift card. So it was at the time, it was like 2 tickets worth. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I took my boyfriend at the time and we were like, let's go to Twilight. Because I really thought it was just going to be like, let's just laugh at this stupid thing. I ended up being captivated by this movie at the time. My poor boyfriend at the time probably was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was captivated. And then I was like, this is really interesting. And then I realized that they were going to make all the rest of the movies, but they weren't going to come out for years.
Right.
So I saw it in the summer in between. I don't even remember when it actually came out, but I remember seeing it in the summer. I won't say between. And then when I got to college, I had a friend who lived on my floor and she got it, and then we rewatched it, and then obviously the books are out. So my mom bought me the books for Christmas. She bought me all of them, and then I read the books, and I was like, "These are fantastic." The books are actually really good.
The books are really good.
The books are good.
Very different from the movie, I have to say.
Yeah, and then remember when Midnight Sun got leaked on the internet? I read that when it came out, which I actually need to buy Midnight Sun.
It's actually a book now.
Yeah, I want to buy it and read it because I actually really liked Midnight.
I
liked it. The whatever she put on the internet or didn't put on the internet, somebody else did, was actually really good.
Yeah,
it was just Midnight Sun is the first book from Edward's perspective, so like we'll get into it. But so I came through it in a different way. But then I read the books, liked it, and then obviously the movies kept coming out, and they weren't like awful to the books. Like they were close enough. There's just some stuff that was different. It wasn't like Harry Potter. Harry Potter I think has a lot of creative liberty in what was in the movies versus in the
there
books.
was so much in the books, but yeah.
So we love a Twilight, but I will tell you I felt the same. I was like, what did I ever see in this?
Yes.
Because I was like, this is the greatest.
I feel like I remember watching it and being like, wow, this is amazing.
Cinema. This is
cinema. This is the pinnacle of cinema. Nothing can get better.
Why aren't they being nominated for Oscars? I don't understand.
Right.
Like I remember thinking that whole that.
Right. How are they not sweeping the Oscar to get it?
And of course, and that
now I get it.
Like Kyle said, this was in the late aughts. The movies came out
2008,
8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So
were they?
They were like a year apart. And even the 2 Breaking Dawns were about a year apart. And so, yeah, I remember like it was wild, and the movie is kind of indicative of that time, like the styling and their.
I think it was because it is a YA book. It is a young adult book.
Yes,
it is not.
Well, and there's some interesting motifs that we can discuss maybe at some point in the book because Stephanie Meyer herself, the author, is Mormon. She's religious. Oh yeah,
is she?
That's why they don't boink until their wedding night. Because she is she was, I don't know if she was Mormon or at some point.
Hold on.
I'm saying
We're
things.
looking it up.
I'm saying things. Oh no, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But yeah, I want to say she was like Mormon or she's religious. And so she wrote the book the way that she did because she didn't.
Yes. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. So that's why she did not have them boink until after they got married. Spoilies. If you've never seen it or
yeah, obviously spoilies for the Twilight series.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now, get it together.
It's on Peacock if you would like to stream that.
It is on Peacock. It is also for purchase on Apple TV.
Oh, sure.
Prime. Please sponsor us.
Right. Please. We would love it. Twilight, please sponsor us. I'm sure you still make lots of money every year. So anyways, the first movie is called Twilight.
Twilight.
Same as the book.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is essentially, I guess, there is a 17-year-old Bella Swan.
Yeah.
It moves from Arizona because her mom and her stepdad's like a amateur baseball player, and he's going to go play in Florida.
And mom cares more about that than her.
Flag. Yeah. And so she decides she's going to go live with her dad in Forks, Washington. And they also, did you notice in the movie, she's moving in March, which I think makes sense for the baseball season.
Well, it was, yeah.
But seems very odd to do as a person anyways.
Yeah.
But so she moves and she is...
Which is Kristen Stewart. Is the actress, by the way, who plays Bella Swan.
Great actress, actually. Have you seen her other stuff? Fantastic.
Oh, I don't agree.
Oh, really?
Can't stand her.
Oh, really?
I
love some of her other stuff.
All she does, have you seen the parodies of her in the Twilight?
No, but I probably...
They're really just reenactments because it's them being like... like in all her weird faces.
The thing is, that's how,
awful.
But that's how Bella was in the books, though. Yes, it was.
Disagree.
Oh my God.
I disagree
We're
strongly.
gonna fight about this.
I disagree. Cut. We have to go
Cut.
fist fight outside in the parking lot.
Anyways, so she goes. She starts this new school. Everybody kind of treats her like a shiny new penny because she's a brand new student in the middle of the year, and she's at the lunch with the other little kids, and they're talking, and she sees the Cullens, and it's this beautiful family, and they're all.
Well, let's talk.
Oh God.
Let's talk the budget on this film.
Oh my God.
It was low budget, right? It was their first movie. It has to be because the wigs. The wig budget was low. Let's talk about it.
I did write that the wigs were. I said the Cullen family wigs are ugly as hell.
Ugly as hell. Yeah, the wig budget was very low.
Sure.
Taylor Lautner, who is in it, who plays Jacob,
terrible.
Wig for the gig.
Synthetic wig,
low,
shake and go.
Right, $15, right? Like
shake and go.
Shake and go. And he did that weird sniffing thing. You remember, like when they're sitting in the truck, and he's like showing him the truck, and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna just put the clutch in." And
I missed that.
It was so weird. It was so awful. But yeah, all the hair, wig budget low, makeup budget low.
It was a little rough.
It
does get better. I will tell you. It does get better.
Yes. I did note in the second movie we did up the wig budget. We did up the makeup budget, and that's great.
Yes.
And that's great.
Yes. So poor little Bella, she sees the Cullens. They're a beautiful family.
Right,
they're
gorgeous.
also all like together in some way, except for Edward. First day that she's there, Edward just stares at her at lunch. She ends up having a class with him where she sits next to him, and he seems to smell her, and then he acts weird and runs off. Then he disappears for a while. Long story short, these two fall in love. She finds out he's a vampire. She does not give a flying fuck, which is a huge red flag.
Huge red flag.
We don't care. And decides that she wants to date him. He also can read minds. He's got a sister who can see the future. And they all kind of have... I don't want to say special abilities,
but
they do have some type of quality.
Jasper he's like an empath. He can like
influence your emotions.
Feelings.
And at the climax of this whole movie, they're playing baseball in this field.
Iconic.
Great scene. Actually, that held up.
That held up.
I hated
it. I agree.
But they're in a baseball field. They're playing, and then 3 other kind of nomadic vampires show up, and these nomadic vampires have been killing people in the town, and they realize
the Cullens do not eat people.
They don't drink human blood. They only drink animal blood. So then they're in this field. These 3 vampires are like, "Hey, what's up? We'll play baseball with you." And then they figure out that Bella is a human because they sniff her because she smells.
And she smells very good.
Yes.
That's kind of what they...
Yes.
She smells so delicious.
Right. And the whole thing is, to Edward especially, she smells very good because that's like her... Later in the series, they talk about like what it's called. It's something in Italian that means her blood sings to him. Something cantante. It's in New Moon.
Oh, okay.
So then one of the nomadic vampires is a tracker, which means he will do anything and anything to kill her. Yes,
played
James.
By
Cam Gigante.
Gigante.
Gigandit.
Very sexy.
Great in burlesque. He was great in burlesque.
Burlesque, yes. such a hottie.
Yeah, and bad wig, but it's fine.
Well, we've already did the wigs.
I know.
The wigs didn't do well.
So okay. So then they all devise a plan on how to get Bella out of Forks to anyways, long story short, Bella ends up in a ballet studio with him, and he starts trying to kill her, and then all the Cullens show up, and then he bites her, so she starts to turn into a vampire, and then Edward's like, no, bitch, you're not gonna be a vampire, and sucks out the venom, but almost kills her because he loves the taste of her blood. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up in the hospital, and there's a whole made-up story. We'll talk about the hospital scene because I
have a lot to say.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say.
And then they go to prom together, and they dance, and he's like, I love you, basically.
Let's talk about that prom budget versus the wig budget.
Right.
That
makes
prom
no
was
sense.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you couldn't buy $120 real hair wig?
Human hair wig, yeah.
What's going on?
And put a wig cap under there so you could actually see a scalp.
Thank you. Yeah. What are we doing?
Anyways.
So
my first thing when she goes to this school at the very beginning is how all the other kids treat her. Isn't it so weird? They're like in her face. They're like got the camera. They're like, we're gonna do a whole expose on you, Bella. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, and they just keep talking to her, and then she becomes a popular kid, which is so strange because she is very like awkward and weird.
Yeah, she's very strange.
But anyway, I thought it was weird. Like the one guy kissed her cheek at the lunch, and then like they pretended to beat each other up. They were just all like really weird and awkward with her. I thought it was weird. I was like, this is strange.
Because it was the weird kids. I think she was friends with the weird kids. I couldn't stand the faces. It was all the constipation, the lip biting, the dumb face. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
It was tough. I think, yeah.
And I remember the whole smelly scene, like when he couldn't stand her smell. Like in the movie, it's like she smells like shit or something. Like he's like,
yeah, he has
but
like.
in the book, I remember it being almost like kind of sexy. I don't know. I don't remember it being so stupid.
It was so interesting to read The Midnight Sun because he like that whole scene, from what I remember, he was basically saying like how hard it was not to kill her. And he was basically thinking the entire time of all the ways he could kill her and kill everybody in that room and leave with her and then like just drink her blood. Yeah, it was crazy. I was reading it and I was like, oh my God. I mean, but it made more sense from that perspective because in the movie, he like, it's like this fan that like blows.
Right.
He like inhales and he's like covers his mouth. Right. And then
he's like,
it's like a jizz in your pants.
Literally.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The Lonely Island from way back in the day. It was like that.
The what?
Do you remember The Lonely Island? They had the jizz in your pants song from SNL. It was from ever.
Oh
my God.
Yes.
It reminded me because I think they did a parody of it in that their music video of that, and I was like, it just was so awkward. Yeah, he played it right, but it was strange.
It was strange.
And then when they first talked to each other, their eye contact was so... I hated it.
The chemistry is not there for me. It's not there for me between the two. Which is funny because they ended up dating IRL.
Oh, they did it for a long time.
And which... Get over it. Gross. They're so gross. I can't stand either of them. I think they're so gross.
I think they both were the right casting choice. And I will not hear any other slander. I will not hear any other slander.
This is the last episode of Two Tired Therapists because I can't.
Well, if you read the other names of who auditioned for Bella, which one of them was Jennifer Lawrence, who was Katniss in the Hunger Games, if you know that. I forget who the other ones were. They were people that like you would know if you saw them, but like I don't think they would have done a good job. I guess Stephenie Meyer wanted somebody very specific for Bella, and they reached out to her, and she was absolutely not interested in it. And Edward Pattinson, I want to say Henry Cavill was the big name that they always talked about, and I didn't think that was the right choice.
No.
I don't know.
But
the soundtrack is a bop.
The soundtrack.
I used to listen to the soundtracks. Yeah. They are all very
have some good songs.
Anyways, Carlisle Cullen, what's your opinion?
Love Peter Fancianelli.
Hottie.
Oh my God.
Hot.
Oh
tea.
My. And Nurse Jackie, that cute little dumb doctor. He played another doctor, and he was like kind of dumb. I love that.
I was like, Carlisle's he's a stone cold fox. He just is
gorgeous.
Yeah, I love it.
And then Elizabeth Reeser as Esme, the
wife.
Love her.
Yes, she's great. The great chick. I think actually the family was cast pretty.
I agree.
Pretty well.
It's the wigs.
The wigs are bad.
It's hard. But Kellen Lutz.
Yeah, as Emmett. Yeah, he's I don't know if I love Nikki Reed as Rosalie, especially in the later movies. I don't, because in the book she was described as being like so beautiful. You couldn't like conventionally beautiful. And not that she's not conventionally beautiful, but like I just, especially in Eclipse, because that's when you get to learn her backstory. No, we won't spoil that, but you learn her backstory in Eclipse, and it's like, but I don't know. I don't know if she was exactly the right choice for Rosalie. I don't know why I feel like that. No, she was bad. She was good. She's great. But it's
I don't know. In the first movie, I can't get past the wigs. can't get past the wigs.
It doesn't. It does get better.
It does get better,
but it gets worse for one person.
Ask me any clips. Ask me any clips. Okay. What's going on?
Anyways, and then something that Edward does fairly early on with her is watch her in her sleep. Red flag. Breaks into her house,
listening to her conversations. Stalking her.
Because we missed an important point. Edward cannot read Bella's mind. Cannot read her mind.
His powers do not work on
her.
Her.
So he's exceedingly in the beginning frustrated with her because he can't read her mind. And if you read Midnight Sun, you'll understand. He talks about it a lot in that book because he cannot. So what he does is he watches other people's minds to like figure out what she's saying about him or what she's doing.
Oh, gross. Well,
it's a flag.
Can we get to the hospital and the gaslighting?
Oh, when he saves her from the car,
right?
Slamming into her, yeah.
So, and this is when she starts to know he's different because a car, it's like icy out or something, and a car in the parking lot, like
he's like across the parking lot from her. She's by her car, so they're like on total opposite ends,
right?
And then this kid is like, he basically, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, gets stuck on ice or something, and like sliding. Hydroplanes into her. But Edward runs
quickly
because he's a vampire,
right?
And saves her, damages the guy's van,
right? Just like holds his hand up and stops it, and she
stares at her like he's gonna kill her,
and then just
leaves. Runs the fuck away,
right?
Nary a word or anything to any. And then they all go saying the story of how he was there, but then it was just like.
Then he gaslights her.
Right, he does totally gaslight her.
You're just shocked.
Yeah, I was talking to you the whole time, you idiot bitch.
Right, yeah, you dumb bitch. Yes. I was standing right next to you.
Right, and she
literally.
She does not find this charming. I remember in the book she was really mad. She was like, he's a fucking liar and all these things. Right. But she is somehow like more intensely interested in him now after this, which I mean, I guess if you're like, that really didn't happen, you'd be like, all right, fine, you're a fucking liar. But flag.
I'd be like, I need to be admitted because I'm sure I saw this. Like,
I do want to say one other thing. Peacoats. You know what a peacoat is? It's the coat Edward wears.
Yeah.
Never looked better in these movies.
Stop.
Beautiful.
No.
Also a fashion of the time.
A fashion of the time. I think it's
I have peacoat.
I have a peacoat. I wore one here.
I haven't had one. Oh, you did wear a peacoat here, but I haven't had one in a long time.
I think it's, but not on
beautiful.
him. It doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, but this is really gonna be our last episode.
This really, because he is 0% attractive. Nothing.
Oh my god.
Not even now. Not then.
I don't think he's as attractive now, for sure. I think he was more attractive then. I don't know why I feel this way, but anyways.
Don't agree.
But yes, I did write car saving scene. Like, what the fuck? And then he just fucking runs away. Yeah. Says nothing to nobody.
Yeah, and then gaslights her. Yeah.
Watches her in her sleep. I think that was the first night he like went to her house and like watched her sleep. And that is a big thing that they do throughout the whole series. Is like he will spend the night at her place. Anyways.
But I hate how they romanticize it. Like, this is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
wonderful.
It's strange.
No.
And then, like the next day at school, so after the hospital, after he's gaslit her, they go on like a field trip to like a greenhouse, which seems like a weird thing to do, but sure.
Sure.
And it's so weird. And she was like, he starts talking to her because he's like listening to
nothing happened.
And then she's like, can you say hi to me? And he was like, hi. And I was like, wow. I was like, I'd been like, bitch, get the fuck away from me.
Get the fuck away from me. I'm about to shank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's my knife. It's going in. Well, it wouldn't do anything to him, but still.
Well,
and then
she didn't know that.
And then then she was like, well, you really weren't there. And he was like, well, I had an adrenaline rush. It's very common. You can Google it. And I would have been like, I'll fucking murder you. I would have straight up been like, oh, okay, you're gonna be a little bitch today. I got it. Like,
right, literally.
I'm so mean. I cannot.
Right.
But yeah, I will say that's kind of the first time you really, I don't know. I know you say they have no chemistry, but that's the first time you can really see that sexual tension between the two of them. You don't believe that? I think you can.
No.
That's fine. You can
cut the cameras. I gotta go.
Dead ass. I'm out.
Dead ass. I'm done. No, 0% in that show, in that first movie. I don't even know if even New Moon, I did not feel any chemistry. Maybe it's because I find them both gross.
They were not. I think it's because you find them gross. They were really not together in New Moon, and we will talk about that in the next episode.
Oh,
but
great.
they were not in New Moon together very much. Anyways,
now did you catch? I think around that same time you're talking about the book jacket.
I did. Apple scene with like the book cover. Yes,
yep, that was cute.
That was.
I don't think they did that in New Moon or anything. I don't think they did.
What was New Moon?
It was the
thread?
flower, wasn't it? Oh, or was it the chess piece?
No, Breaking Dawn's the chess piece.
There was a flower.
Fucking hell. What's New Moon? New Moon book.
Hold on.
And did you spot all the Stephanie Meyer cameos?
We're consulting our.
Oh, you're right. It is a flower.
Oh, okay.
They didn't. Yeah, you're right. They didn't do like a flower
No, I don't
thing
think
for
they
that.
did.
They don't do anything for Eclipse either. They do something for They do something for Breaking Dawn though.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, yeah. So
we're consulting Barbara in the research department.
Yes. No, the apple scene, that was pretty cool for the time.
It was cute. It was cute.
Also, when they were all talking and they all got invited to the beach and the Quiyu guys were like, the Cullens don't come here. I was like, why would you say it like that?
Right. It was so weird.
It was so
weird. Right.
I just said, why would you say it like that?
Like if that happened in real life, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Well, and that was weird too. And that's kind of a big scene because that's where so Bella and a bunch of her friends from school go to the Quiyu beach, La Push.
Sure. Which I think is French for
it's a real
push.
beach. It's a real place. And they go and Bella and Jacob are talking on the beach and he tells her the story of the treaty and why the Cullens don't hunt humans. And it basically boils down to a long, long time ago, the Cullens showed up and ran into this werewolf pack.
The descendants.
Yes, the descendants. Yeah, they say it's the descendants, but it's really the Cullens.
And I think, TBH, I don't think Jacob knew at this point that all this was real.
No, Jacob thought it was totally fake. And so it was telling her it's the descendants of the Cullens, and they came to a treaty where the Cullens wouldn't go on the Quiyu land and they wouldn't hunt. And that's when he basically says, they're the cold ones. Basically says they're a vampire. So now Bella is kickstarted into this weird, like, hyperfixation obsession with, like, figuring out what the fuck is going on.
Can we talk about the drama of her research?
Oh my God. They do that almost every movie. Especially like the montage of her like Googling stuff. Also, did you love the old Google? By the way,
Google.
Oh my God!
And, like she might as well have fucking gone to Ask Jeeves at that point. But
that'd been amazing
for her going through like she's looking
Microsoft
at
clip.
What is? Well, that's what killed me is she's looking through all this stuff. Nothing about vampires. It's every other culture,
right?
Of what, and she's like,
weird.
What is it? I'm like,
well, like,
bitch, I would have known 4 hours ago that
right.
it was vampires.
Oh my God!
And then when they get to the big reveal scene in the woods, and he's like, "Say it."
We have to talk about. We have to talk about the Port Angeles whole trip that she takes real quick.
Oh,
because that's a big scene, and then we'll talk about that scene, and then we'll take a break.
I forgot about that,
and then we'll go through the rest of the movie. So after that, after she finds it out, she looks at this book on Google, on old Google. She says, what the fuck? And it shows her this book that's at this bookstore in Port Angeles, which is like a good drive from Forks. Well, some of her friends are going prom dress shopping. Bella doesn't want to go to the prom. She says she's going to go visit her mom. So she's like, let me go dress shopping with you. Right. While she's there, this fucking bitch
conniving
doesn't even help her friends find a dress. She's like not even paying attention.
I really just want to go to this
also,
bookstore.
did you see Edward's car outside the dress shop? That was his car.
Creeper.
Yeah. So Edward's car is outside. So he follows her. And
doesn't deny it either.
No, he doesn't. And it's interesting to read about in Midnight Sun also. I feel like I'm talking a lot about that, and I haven't read it since it was leaked on the internet 25 years ago.
I need to read it.
So she's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not really paying attention to you guys. I need to go to this bookstore. She literally did that. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I gotta go. Like, I want to go to this bookstore. Doesn't explain why, and then goes by herself, which is fine. It looked like they were there at like maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Like it was the afternoon. This bitch leaves the bookstore.
Still 17 years old. You were like 16, 17 years old.
Sure, but then this goes to the bookstore. She must be at the bookstore for like 8 hours because it's like dark as fuck out when she leaves. The map showed it in the middle of town, like, and it was facing the ocean. But when she walks out of that bookstore, it looks like it's at the end of fucking town.
I don't know.
Coming out of a dumpster somewhere. So she starts walking. She's like, you know what? Like, I gotta, I'm gonna go back to my friends because they were supposed to meet for dinner at this restaurant.
Right.
So she's just walking. These guys start following her. Common woman plight.
Right. Men.
And it's a group. It's a large group of them.
Yeah, there was like 5 of them.
And they're clearly some type of intoxicated and or high. And they start yelling at her. Long story short, they're about to like attack her. Edward pulls out of fucking nowhere, zooms the fuck in, gets out of his car, and is like, get in the car. And then she just gets in the car, doesn't say anything. I would have been like, bitch, where'd you come from?
Right,
like,
who are you?
Right.
You're not my dad.
She gets in the car. He walks up to them, like, kind of. I don't think he actually hissed at them, but it seemed like he growled at them. Gets back in the car,
and they're scared.
Flips the goddamn car around,
literally,
and drives the fuck off. Like, and. Spoiler alert, in Midnight Sun, he went back and killed all of those people.
Did really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Unless she changed the story. Yeah, he went back and he killed all of them. He was
well,
mad as fuck.
There you go.
And so...
and that's when that's in the car they touch for the first time.
Yes.
And the gas.
Yes. So Right.
Because he's cold.
Right. So they go to dinner.
No.
They have a little dinner. Edward doesn't eat because, he's
a vampire.
He doesn't do that.
Spoiler alert.
They have interesting conversation. I won't even get into it. Lots of weird flags in that conversation. And then when he's driving her home, that's when they touch hands and he's so cold.
Right.
And she's like,
but it's the drama. And even him, he's like,
we done.
It's like a telenovela.
Right. Oh my God. It'd probably be better if it was a telenovela, if I'm being honest, like 100% telenovela.
Right.
So then so it's really interesting. He says, like, I feel very protective of you, all these things.
I hate it.
At the time I was like, oh, this is so charming. And now I'm like, I hate this.
This is where my experience as an adult, and because again, in the book, as a teenager, I'm between the ages of 13 and 18 in 2008.
Right.
I'm telling you, I'm like,
yeah.
Like I am like flicking the bean. Like I am like Edward Cullen for life.
Yes.
Like this is the man of my dreams.
Yes.
And now as an adult watching the movie, I'm like, girl, you got to run.
Yeah, I would have been.
Girl, you got to go.
This would have been creepy.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yes.
You have to go.
And then at some point he I did this in order. No, I think this is when they go to the forest. So then the next day at school, they're leaving school. He's in the parking lot. He just starts walking toward the forest. What does this bitch do? Just start following him into the forest.
Sure.
Like, no big deal.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Right.
So, he's standing behind her, which this was the big movie promo. I don't remember if you remember this from back then. This was the whole thing. This whole scene where he's like, say it, because you know what I am.
She's
say
like,
it.
I know what you are.
Right.
Say it.
And he's just
say
like,
it. Say it.
And I just wrote, let's just go in the forest with the vampire and confront him. And she is not afraid. She's not afraid.
She's not afraid.
And he's like, say it. And she's like, you're a vampire. And he's like, whoa, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore. And it's like, oh, get a grip,
get
bitch.
A grip.
Get a grip.
5G. Get a grip. Good God, get a grip, girl.
And so they go into this forest and he starts running around. He's like, as if you could outrun me. And he throws this big ass tantrum in the forest. Throws this big old tantrum.
Jumping around. And again, the CGI budget low as well.
Not terrible though. You have to admit it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. The running is not good.
The running is not good.
But so they go in this forest and he's just trying to show her all the things she should be scared of. This bitch is not scared.
No.
And then he's like, you should see me in the sun. And here is where you and I are probably gonna have the same reaction.
I would have died. I would have taken the knife down the street, not across the street, down the street.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning, self-harm, but down the street because the glowing. It's the sparkling.
It's
the sparkling for me. How do you feel about it?
This is what I wrote. I'll read you exactly what I wrote. I said,
please.
I'm not gonna lie, would have laughed if he showed me his glittery tits. Would have died laughing. I would have laughed so hard. I was like, what is I still think it's so funny because he opens his he's got a button.
The shirt has to open.
And it glitters, and it's not it's glitter. I mean, it's not glisten in the snow. It's
concrete with glitter in it.
But I would have laughed my fucking ass off. I would have been like,
she's like,
she thinks.
She's over there flicking the bean.
Yeah,
on it.
she's
like,
oh my God,
can't believe
I would
it.
have laughed.
Thought it was so beautiful.
I would have laughed so hard at the things he said because he was like, you're my own personal brand of heroin, which I remember reading that and being like, oh wow, that's so beautiful. And now I'm like, I hate that comparison. I hate it now.
It's not healthy.
No, it's
this not. Is not healthy.
Well, and let's not compare you fighting your urge to kill someone with substance use. Now I don't like it. I'm like, I hate this.
Right.
And they just, that whole scene was so
weird,
cracked to me now. I was like, I cannot.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it really shows me that I grew up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Did you have the same thoughts?
Yes,
I was
because
just
in the even in the
little
book,
tantrum.
It's just he's like, oh, it's glittery. I'd be like, okay,
sure.
Because you think he's gonna burn up and die.
No, he just glitters.
Skin.
And Stephanie Meyer explained at some point why. I think it's to say that they are new and shiny. That's why, so they don't look dead. That's why she made him glitter. I think that's what she said.
Stephanie.
I didn't
Not
agree
sure
with
about that.
Anyways, well, we gotta take a little break. We gotta regroup.
We gotta regroup because there's some stuff that comes.
Yeah,
in the second
we're
half.
about halfway through the movie at this point.
And I hope there are certain points that we share together.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm sure we will.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
hope you had your drink.
Oh.
Alcoholic or not, whatever you're doing.
Whatever you're doing.
There's no judgment.
With us.
We have to finish the rest of Twilight. We got to get through it.
We got a lot to get through. There's still a lot.
So, last we left was the forest scene. Then it cuts to the next day
reveal.
where Bella's in her little bed and she's like, I know 3 things for sure.
Oh, God.
And I can't remember what all the 3 things are. It's basically like Edward's a vampire.
Right. And I love him.
Yeah.
Basically.
And there's a part of him that wants to kill me. And I just...
Right. And I love that.
And I just wrote, what the
me.
fuck? He wants to kill you, bitch.
Right. I mean...
Because she doesn't know how dominant his thirst for her blood is. And I was like... And again, like when I was a teenager, I was like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful."
Right.
Now I'm like,
I
hate this for you.
Well, my problem is now. So he's like 100 and something years old. We find out later.
Yes. So his whole backstory is that he was dying of the Spanish flu back in 1918. So he was born, I think, in 1901, is what they say.
Something like that.
Dying in the hospital. Carlisle was the doctor. Carlisle turns him to save him. He was the first that Carlisle turned.
Yes. And
then Carlisle later turned Esme, his wife.
Right.
And then later turns all of the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like 100 and something years old at this point, like 117 years old, I guess.
And my thing is, then you come across this 16, 17-year-old girl.
17, yeah.
And you can't cope. Because
but he's stuck at 17.
No.
Yes, physically, you stop developing at the age you turn.
Not mentally.
Well, no, not
because
technically
mentally. You continue to learn, right? He's quite wise. So you're...
That's a big part of the vampire turn is like your brain is...
So mentally, you're 100 and something years old, and here comes a 17-year-old girl, and you're like, really?
I wish everyone could see Kyle's reaction and face right now.
I don't know about that. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a little weird, but I also... So in Breaking Dawn, they talk about... immortal children for a specific reason, and basically explain that when you're an immortal child, you stop developing at the age you turn. So in theory, and I was going to debate this with you, like just separately, not because of Edward, but that if you turn at 17, then your brain stops developing at 17. But although their brains have the capacity, because you're like superhuman speed vampire or whatever, I don't hate it. I think it helps that looks 17. I think if he looked older, I think it would be weird.
I don't think mentally he's 17.
I think he's just an interesting...
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing about this movie, to be honest. That is like the least problematic thing to me out of all the things that he does.
It's up there.
I don't know. I feel like your brain stops, but I get what you're saying too. It doesn't really stop because you still keep learning shit, because you can learn all sorts of crazy things when you're a vampire. Let me mull on it more. I got to think more about it, because I 100% get your argument. It's not that. It's just, I don't know, because when they have the discussion about immortal children, the immortal children are literally stuck. So if they get turned at 5, they're 5 forever, no matter what happens to them. But I feel like there's got to be an age, and I don't know what that age would be really, where like it's more acceptable. Because if you think about it, you're technically a child until you're 18. Yeah. And Edward was 17 when he turned. So anyways, I'll mull on it.
More to come.
Anyways, so then there's I just wrote vampire wolf stare down. I don't know why I wrote that. There must have been a scene where they all were like together. When she said she couldn't. So then I guess the whole thing is after the whole forest scene, they start dating.
Right. Their thing.
And then everybody's like, ooh, the new girl is dating Edward Cullen.
Right.
And they even have like a little scene where he gets out of the car and he's got his little Ray-Ban sunglasses on. He puts like his arm around her.
Because they're rich.
Yeah, so like the Cullen family is supremely rich.
Which if you think about
we'll talk about their house in 1 minute, because then they invite her over for dinner.
Right. But it makes sense if you think about it, because...
Oh yeah, what are you doing? You're just amassing wealth over...
Exactly. Well, because Carlisle's a doctor, so good money, but also you don't have a grocery budget.
You have somebody who can see the future, can probably predict stocks and sporting events.
But like, you're not buying food. You're not going out to eat.
True.
That's like
I know.
hundreds of dollars there.
Right. So
you don't have to really pay an electric bill.
No.
Not really.
No. And it's so interesting because like I don't know, you have these preconceived notions of vampires, and I will say I think Twilight really threw them out, because it's like dark dungeon. I mean, their house was fucking gorgeous.
They were like bougie,
like all glass wall house, basically, like modern rustic house. It's a really pretty house. But yeah, so Edward says, my family wants to meet you. We got to invite you over for dinner. And yeah, it's a pretty house. There's a big focal point of that whole house is the big picture where it's all the graduation caps from all the kids, which I think is pretty
That's
cool.
Yeah.
And then they're making dinner for her. They're actually cooking food,
right?
Which
they were excited.
Which is
because they were like, "This is the first time we've used the kitchen."
Watching like Emerald Lagasse, like all of the early 2000s, because that's when Emerald Lagasse was very huge. And they're making Italian because her name's Isabella,
so she was Italian,
right. And then they walk in, and it's such a like. Did you feel like the weird? Like the dynamic was so weird, and I understood why, but it was
she's a human,
right? So and then Rosalie is not happy. She's holding a salad and she smashes the salad bowl
because she said she ate.
Right.
Bella said she ate because she was like, "Well, you guys don't eat, so."
Well, Edward said that. Edward's like, she ate because we don't eat.
Yeah, because we don't eat.
And they all are like, "Oh yeah, makes totally sense. Thank you." And then Rosalie is like, "Well, I don't say this all for you."
Fuck up this Caesar salad real quick.
And she just crushes that bowl.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that's kind of the whole scene. She doesn't really talk to them. I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, the whole point was for you to like meet the family, and
he's kind of like, "Let's go to my room."
Yeah, and his room he's got a nice little room. It's got no bed because they don't sleep.
It's got like a little like chaise.
It's all music. He has like a door that's open out into the forest, which I thought was kind of strange. Like
no
there's
steps,
no balcony, no nothing.
No. But again, you're a
maybe
vampire.
they built it that way. I don't know.
Yeah, you can just leap right out.
They share a little dance. And it's important to note at this point they've never kissed each other.
No, not yet.
They've not like
no.
They can't do well, I don't want to say they can't. It seems like they're both separately worried about how these like physical stuff is going to go.
Of course.
And then the very famous hop on tight spider monkey.
I hate it.
I hated it.
That's all I wrote in my. That's all in all caps. Spider monkey.
I hated it.
What the fuck?
I didn't write anything about that.
That was not in the book.
Yeah.
Was it? I don't think it was. Where the fuck did that come from?
I don't remember if it was in the book or not.
I don't think it was.
I hated it. I hated it then. I've never been a fan of it.
If anyone ever called me Spider Monkey, I would be like, "Well, this is over."
Yeah. Why? Why?
What even is a spider
monkey? Of all
the
things to say, like hang on tight, squirrel. Like I mean, there's so many other like animals that would have been better.
You could have been like, "Hang on, my little hooker bitch," like, and I would have been like, "Okay," like. Spider monkey?
Hang on, my hooker bitch. Hang on.
Hashtag hooker bitch.
Hang on. Oh my God. I think it would have been. I don't know. I think I hate it. There's no other good thing. He could have been like, "Hang on tight, babe." Like that would have even been better of a. Anyways, mess. So.
Well, according to Barbara in research, it says that Robert Pattinson handpicked the word spider monkey because he thought it was fun.
Oh, that was like an improv line.
So that's pretty stupid. And I think only proves my point that Robert Pattinson is stupid. Hold on, my little spider monkey. Ugh. Makes me want to throw up everywhere.
And then they like run up to the forest and they like fuck around in the forest. And when I say fuck around, I mean they go up in the trees and like look at shit and like stare at each other's eyes. Right.
It's disgusting.
So then after that date night, I assume it's the same night. She's in her room. She's on the phone with her mom. And leading up to her meeting Edward, Bella was really on the fence about staying in Forks. She was like, I don't know. And they find out, I think, that her mom and stepdad are going to be like staying in Florida. They're going to stay in like Jacksonville or something. Mm-hmm. So her mom's like, "Well, you can come in Jacksonville. We're going to buy this house. You got your own room. It's got its own bathroom." And she's just like, "Well, I really like Forks now." And her mom's like, "Oh, is it a boy?" Mm-hmm. And cut to Edward just like standing in the fucking corner of her room.
There. Yeah.
And then
her not being bothered at all.
And then she was like super flustered, and she was like, yeah. And her mom's like, "Give me details." Like,
right.
Actually, we'll give it to her mom. They kind of, in the book, I remember Bella comparing her, like their relationship was opposite. Like she was the parent and her mom was the child. In the movie, I didn't feel like it was super that.
Yeah, not as bad.
But her mom at least was like, "Oh, well, tell me all about him." Like, I mean, she was trying to like.
Yeah, but it to me it felt more like she was being friendly. Like, well, tell me. Yeah. What's the goss?
Right.
Tell me the goss.
And then didn't Edward take her phone, or she was like, "I gotta go by," and like hung up on her mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like you couldn't even be like, "Oh, I gotta go, like I'm having diarrhea." Like, I mean, there was no, she was just talking to her mother, so she's like, "I gotta go by," and she hung up on her.
Yeah.
If I did this to my mother, she would 100% have called me back no less than 85 times.
Right.
I mean, like, what is wrong with you?
Right. No, she'd be here. She'd be driving.
Yeah, she'd be.
What's up, bitch?
Yeah. And I that was so weird. And then they have their first little kiss in her bedroom.
And it was disgusting.
It's an awkward
yes,
and I think it was intentionally awkward because of their like vampire human dynamic.
Ugh.
We won't talk about it. We won't recreate it verbally to you all. But it was. It's
let's
just.
Let's just.
It was. Yeah. It wasn't.
It was not cute.
Anyways, so
I'm telling you, the chemistry's not there for me.
It's fine. And then the next scene is them in the baseball field, which we've talked about.
Iconic.
Great movie.
Supermassive black hole.
They have to play baseball during a thunderstorm because they hit the ball so loud and they do all the crazy running and shit. And so they're playing and it's funny, and Bella's the umpire and ha ha ha, we're all having a great time.
Right.
And then the nomads show up. It's James, Laurent, and Victoria. I was like, what's her name? I was gonna say Rachel, and I'm like, that's the actress's name. They show up and they have a weird little interchange like we talked about before, where they all think they're vampires and they're like, oh, we want to play. And so Carlisle's like, oh, well, a couple of us were leaving, so yeah, that's fine.
Trying to get Bella out of there.
As they're leaving, a big gust of wind hits, which
how convenient.
So they can't smell her when there's no wind, but when there's wind they can smell her? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. Like I think it's the dramatic effect of like, oh, her smell.
Yeah, a ginormous gust of wind.
And when you're around a bunch of vampires, maybe they smell different, so it's kind of like,
well, I assume they probably...
there's a human around here.
Yeah, maybe they smelled the vampire stank, and then they smelled her.
Stank.
Well, they talk about the stank in the later movies. Oh, we'll get into it. It's crazy. I was like, oh my God, I didn't remember.
Movies in so long,
I know, same. I hadn't really watched them in a long time.
I could only watch 2, so that's all I could get through.
It's fine. It's fine. I shouldn't have done what I did.
Yeah. I was going through something.
I've not finished them. Because, well, anyways,
well, that's cut. Different episode.
So then they smell her, and then there's a hilarious scene where they just hiss at each other. Hate it.
Yeah, like
they like
crouched and everything,
and it was a whole thing.
It was gross.
And so then they're like, we're all leaving, fuck off. And then Edward takes her in this big ass Jeep, which I think is Emmett's Jeep in the book. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we gotta go because now James, the tracker, knows your scent, and now he's gonna kill you.
His power.
Yeah, and now he's gonna kill you because I had my reaction at the field, and that's his favorite thing.
Right. So
they're in this car, and they're in the car, and they're kind of yelling at each other, and he's like, we gotta leave right now. We gotta leave Forks. We can't be here. And she's like, no, I gotta like talk to Charlie. Like I gotta tell my dad I'm leaving. And he's like, no, you can't. So then they cut to the next scene where she's walking into her house and she's yelling at Edward like, go fuck yourself. And you're like,
yeah, they're pretending to fight.
You're like, oh my God. You're like, holy shit. And then she's yelling at Charlie saying, I don't like being here. I gotta leave this town. She goes up to her room. Edward's helping her pack. So clearly they've contrived something.
Yes.
And he's just like, you gotta leave. Like you gotta say whatever you gotta say. You gotta get out of this house. And so then Bella, dumbly or smartly or whatever you want to call it, basically says the same thing that her mom said to Charlie when she was leaving him, which was just like, if I have to stay here, I'll like die or whatever she said. I don't remember what it was.
I feel like there were probably better options, but again, she's 17. What does she know?
Well, and I
dumb.
just think about my mom, and she'd been like, "What the fuck are you?" Like she'd been like, "You're not leaving."
What is
like,
wrong with
you're right. Exactly. Charlie just was like, "Okay, bye."
Like, yeah.
Well, he was upset clearly, but like, "Okay, bye." Like there was no whatever. So then they go back to Edward's house where they're all stocking up on things to kill vampires with / like whatever, and then they say something that I wrote down because I was like, I cannot. It says she's a part of this family now. Bitch, she has been a part of this family for like maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, because Rosalie was like, why? Because they had some of her clothes and they were like, let's try to get her scent off the trail kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, why am I risking my life? And Carla was like, she's part of this family. She's paired with Edward.
She's part of this family now. And I'm like, what? It's been maybe a month. Right. Maybe a month since they've officially started dating.
Right. Let's calm down.
And
then,
he
still wants to eat her, so calm down.
Oh my God. Oh, I cannot. And then she's in the car, like getting ready. And so Alice and Jasper are going to go take her to Arizona because they want her sent out of Washington. They're going to like watch Charlie to make sure he doesn't die. So she's like sitting in the car with Alice and Jasper, and she's like, oh, just if anything happens to you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, and I just wrote, Bella's a dumb bitch. Let's just be realistic.
Thank you.
I'm like, why are you like, and then I'm just like, wow, this is stupid. Like, I couldn't like, so they drive to, the three of Alice, Jasper, and Bella drive to Arizona. They go into a hotel room. I remember this being way more robust in the books than it was in the movie. They really didn't do a whole lot. No. And so they're all just sitting in the hotel room. And Alice is like, gets a vision, and she's like, oh my God, give me a piece of paper. She starts drawing out this vision, which it's like Bella in this big area with mirrors, and James is there, and Bella's like, oh, that's my like childhood ballet studio.
Right.
Again, Bella, you stupid bitch. Like, why didn't you think this through? Like, so Alice is like, oh, you know this place?
She's like, that's cool. Let's go there.
Yeah. And so then she gets a call. I think is it from?
It was from her mom.
She thinks it's from her mom.
Right.
Spoiler, it's not. And it's like, Bella, where are you, Bella? And she's like, oh, calm down, Mom. But it's James from her childhood home, which, why did they keep her? I thought they were like legit moving, but I guess they kept her home in Arizona empty.
He broke into the school. And then,
no, it was her house because it was her home video.
They were traveling. He was I think he was like a traveling baseball person. And so they were renting in Jacksonville.
Right.
Right.
So he breaks into her childhood home, steals this home video, and then plays the beginning of it.
Which is her like, Bella, where are you?
Yeah.
Like,
and then she starts telling her mom what's going on. And then he's like, bitch, if you don't show up to this ballet studio, I'm going to kill
your mom.
I'm going to kill your mom. And she thinks that he's got her mom. And she does not.
And she does not.
So she's like, all right, here we're going to this ballet studio. Again, I would have like been like, guess what? He just called me. And like, but again, I think it was more robust in the books where he was like, if you tell anybody, like, I'll kill your mom. And and in the book, I think it was more convincing that it wasn't her mom.
Right. So she's like, let me just peace out.
Yeah.
And not take 2 vampires.
And I forget,
me.
and they don't show how she gets out, but I remember in the book, I feel like she like snuck out or said she needed to like
snuck out. Alice and Jasper were like at the front off, like the front
they were like
office.
checking out or something like that.
And she's like, bye.
She like runs to the studio. So then she goes into the studio, and of course it's like this dimly lit, like full of mirrors. It's a ballet studio. Right. And he comes out of nowhere. He's playing the video, so it's like, Bella, where are you? It's the same thing. And then she realizes it's a video of her as a child,
she's like,
which is
fucked up.
Yeah. And then he shows up out of nowhere, and he's just like, guess what, bitch? And he's got a camera. He's got a fucking camcorder, handheld, old Techler. Actually, this whole movie was old Techler.
2002.
The cell phones, everything was. Oh my god.
Right.
And he's just like, I'm gonna film this, and I'm like, this is creepy. Like.
Right. Well, he was
fetish.
But now hold on.
Oh, did I miss something?
Now I was turned on. Let's have that conversation.
Yeah, he was like
when Cam came in.
Oh yeah,
he's so hot.
I hate the wig. It was the wig. I hate him with long hair. He looks so much better in burlesque.
It was the wig, but if he would have played Edward, oh my.
I think he did a good job for this role because this role is a one and done thing that and spoiler, it's a one and done thing.
Right.
But it was a little weird that he like shoved that camera like right in her face and he was like, scream for me, bitch. Like, I mean, it was a little weird. It was a little too much. But then
he's gross. So
right.
You know.
Well, then she pulls out her pepper spray that Charlie gave her from the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, bitch, this is a vampire.
You learned nothing?
Have you
learned nothing?
I literally wrote, why did you think pepper spray would stop him? He's a fucking vampire. Like, why?
She's a dumb bitch. Because she's a dumb bitch.
So then he starts attacking her. He like throws her across the room. She like slams her head. She's bleeding.
Right.
She's like thinking she's about to die. He breaks her leg, which is crazy. I remember the book. I remember being more traumatized by the book. It was bad in the book. Bad. But he crushes her leg and he's like filming her and he's like, tell Edward blah blah blah, and she's like, no, Edward, don't. And they all just magically show up.
They show up, right. Here they are.
And so they come in and they start to try to like kill him, attack him. They get him immediately. It wasn't even like that hard of a fight for them. Like
not really.
They just and there was like 5 of them.
Right.
So and they start a fire in this ballet studio because they're ripping apart.
So he bit her.
Yes. So right before they showed up, he bit her. She also was like bleeding out from her leg because she somehow like one of the last things he did was he like smashed a mirror, threw her against a mirror, and
something like that.
Cut her femoral artery in her leg. So then they're all trying to. It's like Carlisle comes over. Alice is trying to help her, but then Alice like tastes her blood. She's she like looks at her blood and she's like, she's like shaking her hand, and I was like, wow. And then poor Edward is like struggling so hard. Right. Literally looks like he's going to poop himself. Like he's constipated.
That's all the looks. All the looks. I thought he was going to shit himself. All the looks.
And then Carlisle is like, give me your belt. Like does a tourniquet for her leg and is like, guess what? She's going to change unless you suck out the blood.
Because vampires, they change them because of venom. There's a venom conversation. So he's like, you got to suck out the venom. Right. Like she's been bitten by a rattlesnake.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. The logic on that did not make any sense to me. I was like, but I mean, maybe
Stephanie Meyer did some creative license.
I bet if we post about this on our fucking Instagram.
Do you think she'll respond?
Maybe. But I bet you will get a lot of people. Maybe we'll get the Twilight lovers and they'll be like, they'll explain. And that's fine. I will take it. I'll take an explanation because I don't understand. It's like a snake bite. That's what I thought.
They said venom. Yeah, venom.
I hate it.
I don't know. I kind of, sure.
But and then he gets to taste his own little personal brand of heroin, as he would say, and he has a struggle bus moment where he's about to suck out all of her
music. The John Mayer.
Oh, do you know who that really is?
Who is it?
It's Robert Pattinson.
I gotta go. Cut. I gotta leave.
That's Robert Pattinson. Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. It sounds a little Dave Matthews mixed with John Mayer.
Yes,
yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, it's straight people. It's heterosexuals.
Oh yeah, Twilight,
what
gay
it
or
is.
straight.
Straight. Oh my. Oh.
Mormon.
Mormon. Are you kidding me? Yeah. That's the new gay straight Mormon.
Mormon.
Yeah. It was so like.
Yeah,
man
it was a lot.
sucking her blood, and it's like your body is a wonderland. Like that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's a lot, and then
it was too much.
It's going through like her memories, and like it's weird, but it's like very artistic
like,
in a weird way.
Is she dying or is she not?
Right.
Spoiler alert, it's not.
No, she doesn't die. So then the cut to the hospital, and let's just talk about the tube placement on her face the entire scene. Did you notice that?
No.
So the tubes would be like up here one scene, and then they'd be like across. I could not get. I did not notice that when I first watched it as a teenager, but I was like, "What is happening?" It was literally like literally cutting into her eyes, and then was
too much.
And it kept going back and forth. Like the cuts were so bad. Anyways,
low budget.
And so, like when they were closed up, or when it was super close, they were like fucked up. But when it was zoomed out, it was normal. Like I don't know. Anyways, so I literally wrote right other tubes next to her eyes close up, but when zoomed out, it's in normal spots.
I didn't even notice that.
So she's in the hospital. She wakes up. Her mom's there, and her mom's like, "Oh my god, you like fell down the stairs and like fell through a window." Why does everybody accept that explanation?
I know.
It's totally normal.
It's, right.
I know she's clumsy, and in the book she's way more clumsy in the book. Like there's
she's
way more.
Yeah.
Like I remember her getting hurt way more
she's
frequently.
Like, you fell down 2 flights of stairs and hit a
window.
What?
And your mom was just like, okay. Your dad was just like, okay. Your cop dad was like, okay.
Okay. And I also thought too that like, and at the same time, did they not hear about like the ballet studio down the street was also
on fire?
Like on fire and looked like it had been.
Well, and I remember in the book,
sacked.
They did talk about like on the news, like in the hospital or in the newspaper, it was talking about that. But anyways,
and nobody thought anything.
I just wrote codependent as hell is the hospital scene because like
all of them.
Because she's just like, where's Edward? And Edward's sleeping.
Get out.
Quotes. He's just like. Him hunched on that fucking makeshift bed made me die laughing. I was like, oh my god,
get out.
And he's just hunched over there.
He's been here.
He was trying to convince you to go back to Forks. And again, no one was like, bitch, what the fuck were you doing? 1, leaving Forks. 2,
right.
what
are you doing here?
Why did you fall 2 flights of stairs? What the fuck happened?
What's going on?
No one questioned it.
What drugs are you taking? Yeah.
I hated it. And then she leaves because she's like, I really want to talk to Charlie. I gotta tell him I'm sorry for my little thing.
For my problems.
And then Edward gets up and they're just like, oh my god. He's like, well, maybe we should like not be together. And she like freaks out. And she's like, no. And I remember in the hospital, it was like, or in the book when she was in the hospital, like when he was trying to talk about breaking up with her, like her heart rate was going crazy. Like I remember that part, but they didn't do that in the movie.
But the movie, so we'll talk about this more in New Moon. I know we will. But the movie projects her with mental illness. AKA a personality disorder.
Oh, really?
Whereas the book is like, I just feel like it's more cute.
Yeah.
You know?
It's,
like the movie is like, oh, I'm going to kill myself if you leave. Borderline. And the book was more like, oh no, like, how will I go on?
Yeah.
It wasn't as dramatic.
No, it wasn't as dramatic. We can talk about New Moon because I have a lot of opinions about New Moon.
We have a lot to get into.
And that'll be the next episode. But so they're in the hospital and it's a little codependent-y. It was a little barfy for me. I hated it.
It was.
Then so cut to the next scene. She's getting ready for prom with her boot.
With her boot.
Because she like she like shattered her leg and like all sorts of shit. No one's also questioning the bite mark on her fucking arm, but whatever.
So
she gets ready for prom and she told all these people she wasn't going to prom, and now she is with Edward. And so I liked her prom dress. I was like, oh, that was of the time. It was of the time
with Converse
and leggings. I was like, and then she just brought a sweater, like just a regular sweater. I was like, bitch,
it's fine.
You could never catch me in a regular sweater at prom, but whatever. No. And they go, and
she's a flop. So.
And it's like you said, it's a very nice prom. It's very fancy. They've got like
it was like casino,
like Royale or something.
Casino Royale.
I think they talk about the theme in the book more. Yeah. But they go, and then they go to this little gazebo, and they start dancing. And let's just talk about the 2 other couples in that gazebo who like
peace out
awkwardly, and then the cut in the editing was bad because they were already out of that on the zoom out, and then on the zoom in, they both left the gazebo.
Right.
But terrible. So
and she's like standing on his feet, and he's like, "Look, you're dancing. Get the fuck out. Get."
I wonder how uncomfortable that was for Robert Pattinson.
Oh, I bet they loved it. They were probably like, I'm sure they loved it. I'm sure it was their like falling in love.
Oh my god,
like moment.
So they're at prom and they're just talking, and she's like, I love you forever, and oh my god, but I don't want to change you. I don't want to change you right now.
Right, because she wants him to change her to a vampire.
Right,
and he's like,
no, I don't want to rob you of your human life, which they talk way more about in New Moon. And then
Moon.
they talk more about in the later stuff too. But And so then they dance to this song that's very
more John Mayer.
I think it's Iron and
Basically.
Wine.
John Mayer.
I remember the soundtrack. It was so good.
basically.
But they dance to their little song, and then like she like leans back and he kisses her neck, which you think he's gonna like bite her, but he doesn't. So then they're like, oh, beautiful prom, whatever, and then they zoom out and they go upstairs and there's fucking Victoria. And the vampire just
dressed up theme. Good for her.
Yeah, she looked great. I was like, yeah. And then she unclips her hair on the way down, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, because the wig budget.
But let's just talk about how Edward did not hear her thoughts, which I guess it's prom and everybody's doing shit, so maybe it's allowed in his little brain.
Well, and he's by his heroin, so.
But also, how did he not smell her? Bitch got a whiff of her. Why did he not smell her?
So I was like, she was inside.
She was inside. She was watching them from the gazebo, which you'd think that would have been her moment to strike. I mean, truly, if you look back on it, she missed a lot of good opportunities to strike the fuck out of the two of them. But we'll get into it. So yeah, that was
yeah.
That was it.
So you didn't mention the Stephanie Meyer cameo? Did you see her cameo in the diner?
Yeah, we'll have to talk about all of her cameos.
Oh, was she in the second one? I missed the second.
I might have missed the second one, but she's in Breaking Dawn for sure, and I think she's in Eclipse.
I mean, it's always heavy-handed too, right? Like it's like this random. Like this one was she was in the diner, and it's like, here's your French fries, Stephanie.
Yeah, they definitely
ridiculous.
They definitely too much. Like zoomed in on her. The wedding scene too, spoilies, in Breaking Dawn, they also really like focused on her in a kind of a weird way. Yeah, like she's there and it's just like they're kind of like pan. And you're like, who the fuck is that? And you're like, this bitch from the diner? How'd she get invited?
How'd she get invited to this? What the fuck?
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh no, she was only in Twilight and Breaking Dawn. Wow. I thought she was maybe in the I thought she was in Eclipse, but maybe not. I must have missed that. Anyways.
I thought maybe as we do this, maybe we can rank.
Sure.
We can maybe rank.
We'll have to do that in the last episode.
Right, like rank book and movie. I know it's been a while since maybe we read the books, but I think that would be fun. What do you think if you were a vampire?
Oh.
Would you eat people?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah, that was something I thought of. Like, would I eat people?
I think I would do what Edward later explains that he did. He killed bad people, and I think he fed off like bad people. I think I would do that.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Without special powers to know if they're bad, I don't know that I would.
Well, I think you could figure. I mean, you're a vampire.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm like lurking in a dark alley, like waiting for somebody.
You could watch them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would try it once, but then you run the risk of like that's all you're gonna have.
Oh.
Like once you have it, you're like can't never go back to anything else. I don't know. I've never tasted human blood, so I can't tell you.
Well, but no. But you're a vampire. So
yeah.
Yeah. I think I would. I don't think I would do. I wouldn't do animals.
You and I are just basically talking about how we'd freely murder people as a vampire.
Yeah, I think I would.
I think I would too. I think I would have tried at least one time.
I think I would.
If not murdered the bad people of the world.
Wouldn't. That's what I'm made for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wow. So do you think Twilight rated high, rated lower? Where would you put it? We haven't watched anything.
I guess I have seen all of them.
You've seen all of them.
I think I would probably rate it on the lower scale. I don't know if I'd put it last or second to last. It's gonna be lower though. I'd be really shocked if you put it higher than like 1 or 2. I would be shocked.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen the other one, so it's not first. The thing is, it's not first.
I will say, I think in terms of like book to movie though, like I think it was a good setup for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's very, like we said, it's very of the time. It's very late aughts, I guess. It's very of the time. The fashion,
it is. Yeah.
The technology, everything that's going on. It's kind of like not pre-texting, but texting was new.
Yeah, but the YA stuff.
Yes. Anyways, but yeah. Well, do you have a gay or straight for this?
I didn't. I mean,
I found something on BuzzFeed that
Twilight,
I thought that would be interesting.
Mormon.
Well, it's date or dump. You ready for this?
Like people?
Yeah, Twilight characters. We're doing it.
Oh, great. Like just date or dump? That's the only thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Date or dump?
Yeah.
Bella Swan.
Dump.
I think I would dump.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Edward.
Dump.
Date.
Oh my god.
Jacob. Date or dump? Dump. I can't.
See, this is where I have a hard time because in the books, dump.
Yeah.
In the movies,
book Jacob is a big old dump.
I mean, Taylor Lautner was
was a great casting choice. 100% great casting choice.
In high school, I had a poster of him in my bedroom. How my parents didn't know I was gay, I have no idea. Because it's like, he's got his shirt
I believe
open.
I also had the new moon poster. I think somebody gave that to me for Christmas.
So that's a hard one. Because, yeah, in the movies, Taylor Lautner's... Although I do have to say, I think I'll talk about it more in the next one of like, I didn't have as much of a... I remember Taylor Lautner, you know, he came on screen and I'm like... like,
Let me take off my shirt too.
I'm like Millie Billigan, like over here. And in this cut. One, I was like...
Book Jacob is a big old dump. Taylor Lautner is a very attractive person. Yeah. It's not my thing.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Jessica Stanley, one of the human people. Dump.
Yeah, she was kind of a dumb bitch.
Eric.
Dump. Yeah.
Mike Newton. Dump.
Yeah. All the friends dump them. Yeah, they were all terrible.
Okay. Alice, date or dump? Date. I would date her. She could see the future.
Oh, see, we'll talk about that in the next. That was one of my discussion questions of.
Oh, you mean?
A sibling that can see the future. Do we like that? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Date. Well, what's your answer? You're gonna say dump. You're saying dump.
I think I'll go dump.
Jasper. Date.
Dump. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I like Book Jasper better though. But
yeah, I agree.
I will say in Eclipse though, they do him justice.
The wig. I'm telling you, it's the wigs. I can't get past the wigs.
Rosalie, dump.
Yeah, dump.
Most of these are dump for you.
Yeah, I know.
Emmett.
Date.
I think I would date Emmett too.
Climb him like a tree.
I think in the book he was also he had way more like presence in the book. He had way more personality and presence in the books. He was much more involved. Victoria 1 or Victoria 2? We'll talk about Victoria 2.
We'll talk about Victoria 2.
Victoria 1,
Nepo
date.
baby, Victoria 2.
Yeah, Victoria 1, date.
Date.
Victoria 2, dump.
Oh, I was date her too.
You date Victoria 2?
Oh, Nepo baby, of course.
She's not ugly. I'm not trying to say she's
Bryce
ugly.
Dallas Howard?
Yeah, I'm not saying she's ugly.
Famed child of
Ron Howard? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Charlie Swan, date or dump?
Date.
I think I'm going to say date.
Oh my God, that porn stash. Now, he's not cute now, I'll say, because it's, what's his name? Billy Burke.
Yeah.
Not cute now, but oh man. Ooh.
He was in The Closer.
Arrest me, officer.
My mom will love the Steve Cup. He was in the TV show The Closer. Very good TV show if anybody wants to watch it. He was a serial killer and it was very hard. And I watched Twilight before I saw him in The Closer and it was very hard for me to see him as a serial killer. It sucked. I know what this is going to be. Carlisle.
Oh, date.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. Yeah.
We can go Esme too. I guess she wasn't on here. Date her. I would date her too.
I love. Oh yeah, Elizabeth Reeser is.
Yeah, lovely.
She was in Family Stone.
I know.
You know.
She was in Grey's Anatomy too.
Your mom and I have that in common.
I know. Well, kids.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts on Twilight.
My.
We would love to hear what y'all think.
Please don't. Well, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with people. Having a weird opinion. That's fine.
No, we want to hear what you have to think about it.
Yeah. No. It is. We'll at the end we'll have to rank. We'll do at the end of the second part of breaking down. We'll do a little ranking. And then we'll fight it out. Maybe I bet you and I will probably have the similar ranking. I think, but it's gonna be hard because obviously CGI gets better. Wigs, the wig budget goes up. Although I will say for one person the wig budget does go way down. And
who? Oh well, we can talk about it for that movie because I think that's Eclipse.
We'll
talk about let's get into that later.
So anyways, but look forward to the New Moon review. That'll be the next episode. Hope you stay tired.
And petty.